Guys, there's a report from Bien Español, one Fernando Ceballos, who says Chucky Lozano is prepared to leave Napoli unless there's a coaching change. Gattuso in charge right now. Herc, you've already said in the past you think it's time for Chucky to leave Napoli. So, Ale, I'll start with you. Should Chucky, who's only now getting his first taste of the big time, leave Napoli after just a year?
Well, depends of what the destination would be for Chucky Lozano. Is he taking a step backwards or is he taking a step sideways? I don't think he's going to take a step up. I don't think he's done enough to suggest that he would take a step up anywhere. So you're thinking about what the possibilities would be for Chucky Lozano, and then you have to think, all right, what suits him? What is it, the style of play that he would be outstanding in, that he would stand out, and he would be the sort of player that we saw in the World Cup in 2018 that would have led us to believe that he would take a jump in his career. That jump hasn't materialized. It hasn't happened. And so I'm always weary when players start talking about, I'm leaving unless there's a coaching change. Wait a minute. When Ancelotti was there, you weren't doing all that great either. So is it a coaching thing or is it a player thing? And so when that starts getting around a player and you start sort of evaluating what he is and really is and truly is in terms of productivity, then that's when you say a step up is not going to happen. And then you think to yourself, what are the options? What are the possibilities? If I were Chucky Lozano and I'm not happy at Napoli for whatever the circumstances are, I would take a good look in the mirror. I would evaluate what is it that I can do better, what I can improve individually. And then I would look to go into Spain and find a team in Spain that likes to play an open style, and a team in Spain that would allow me to provide that group of players with a change of pace that makes me the player that I am. In Spain, a lot of the play is about possession. Well, if you have a guy that gives you change of pace and can break down other teams in 1v1 situations, now you have a difference maker. He could be different in Spain. Maybe that's the destination for him. But overall, he just simply has to play better. He hasn't done enough of that for Napoli or anybody else at this point.
Herc, does Chucky have the status, the luxury to say, I don't like this coach, I'm not going to work with him?
Let's play devil's advocate for a bit. Let me play with your emotions for a bit, Sebastian Salazar. He was a very expensive transfer, over $40 million to Napoli. He's not cheap. So they have that expectation of getting him on the field and producing. But also, he hasn't really been given a fair shake under Ancelotti and Gattuso. He's been playing as a second nine, as a second forward. Very rarely is he deployed on the wing where he can play with that pace, that explosiveness that Ale just touched on. This is a player that needs that open space. He needs to be let go. He needs to play and perform to the best of his abilities offensively. But Serie A is very tactical in the sense of how they defend. He hasn't been good enough in that sense. And listen, I had the good fortune of interviewing Hector Moreno, and I asked him specifically about Chucky, and he's like, why is it always we want a player to leave? I want him to stay, and I want him to prove his worth. I want him to toughen out, because in the end, you will grow from this. Maybe he's right. Maybe what Chucky Lozano needs is a little bit of a kick in the butt and to say, you know what? Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm not doing the right things. Yes, I'm not playing in my position. Yes, I'm not really where I want to be, but why? What could I improve on? Do I need to put on more muscle, be more physical? Do I need to be better defensively, tactically? How can I get myself on the field and be a difference maker? Because at that price tag, even for a team like Napoli, I agree with Ale, you're not going to go higher. You're not going to get a better platform, a better obstacle to overcome. Any other movement is lateral or behind you.
I would also say, Seb, that when you consider Chucky Lozano and evaluate him as a player and the options that are available to Gattuso and have been available to Gattuso and Ancelotti, the truth is that, comparatively speaking, he has not been better than Dries Mertens and has not been better than Lorenzo Insigne. And it doesn't seem like that's going to happen anytime soon. So while he may complain that he's not playing in the positions that he feels most comfortable, well, if he wants to get on the field, then he may want to look at the possibility that maybe that's a position he's more likely to get on the field on rather than trying to take Insigne out or Dries Mertens out, because that doesn't seem to be the case. He hasn't been better than those guys, and so therefore, it's not like Gattuso says, you know what, that Chucky Lozano guy, he can really help us, but I'm not going to use him. if you really think this guy is a difference maker for you, if you think that he's a better option than Insigne, or a better option than Dries Mertens, or a better option than whatever you have available, you put him out there in the field. There's one reason as to why Chucky Lozano hasn't been out on the field consistently, and that is he hasn't been very good when he has had the opportunities to prove that. And until he does that, then it'll be a whole lot of sitting in the bench and enjoying the view from the sidelines.
Let me read you a list, guys, of some of the teams that have been linked to him. Atletico Madrid, Sevilla, Valencia, Everton, West Ham, most recently Wolves. That's like a pretty wide range of teams. Herc, what do you think Chucky's actual level is? Is it like Atletico Madrid, so Champions League contender, or is it West Ham, who's fighting relegation?
I don't think it's because it's impossible to really say because the circumstances dictate your play. And I'll use Raul Jimenez as an example. What was he at Atletico? What was he at Benfica? Who is he today for Wolverhampton? How important is he and where is he now? It's about the circumstance. If you could put him in a situation where, like he did when he played at Pachuca, he's in a defensive system where they sit back and almost counter the way Atletico does, maybe he can be a big-time player for Atletico because those suit his qualities, his abilities. But if you're playing him, like Ali just mentioned, he's forced to play and he wants to get on the field and do his best in a system where he's playing off the 9 or as a second forward and you're going to be asked to do a lot of dirty work, maybe that's not his system. Well, it's going to be a lower type of team if that's the case. But with Chucky Lozano, it's not really about where he goes, just about the circumstance of said team. I could sit here and say Borussia Dortmund would be a great opportunity for him, Bundesliga, because the way they can develop these stars, the way that they've proven to develop these stars. But it's on Chucky Lozano. Chucky Lozano knows that he's not in the Dutch league anymore. This is a very attacking league, the Dutch league. You don't defend much. There's not a lot of defensive tactical structure there. He needs to go somewhere where he's going to continue to develop, but also somewhere where he's going to have responsibility because thus far, he hasn't proven to handle responsibility well.
I can tell you this. If he did not like the intensity of Gattuso, he's really not going to like the intensity of Simeone. That doesn't quite seem to match up the coach that he's looking for. And so the Atletico Madrid one, I just don't see it. And that would be a step up. And as I said before, he's not in a position to demand a step up. It would be sideways or backwards, as I mentioned before. And if that's the case, you will look for a team that is open in the way that they play. I said Spain, and if that's where we think he may be leading to or leaning towards, then a team like Valencia that likes to attack and doesn't do a whole lot of defending may be the sort of setup in which he could thrive. Something like that for Chucky Lozano can make sense. Something like Atletico Madrid, it doesn't make sense based upon of the evidence that we have in front of us. And what we have in front of us is that he has a tough time with Gattuso. And if he has a tough time with Gattuso, good luck with Simeone.
Herc, Spain or Premier League a better fit for his game?
Spain. I think the Premier League is way too physical for him. Listen, Liga MX was physical for him at times. He got beat up a lot. Imagine what it'd be like in the Premier League where they're not going to protect you. He was very well protected in Liga MX, and he was still physically beat up a lot. Spain's a very good attacking league. A lot of good teams that could provide the type of service or platform he may need, but I don't see the Premier League. I think a Premier League would be a step up right for him right now from Serie A. And if you go to the Premier League and let's say it's a bottom feeder team, you're fighting relegation, that's the roll up your sleeves and fight type of game that he's not really suited for.
Can I ask Seb a question? Can I turn it around on Seb for a second here?
Of course. You ask better questions than I do most of the time anyway.
I know you love this position. So I would ask you, you had all the money in the world and you're building your team and you have a choice. Do you take Chucky Lozano or do you take Christian Pulisic?
Ooh. I take Lozano. Just a little bit more in that final third for me. That's all.
Okay. Well, Chucky Lozano is sitting on the bench. Christian Pulisic, when he's healthy, he's actually done some good things for Chelsea and had done some good things for Borussia Dortmund. So I'm just...
Are you taking Pulisic? Are you taking Pulisic over Chucky?
This question was for you. Why are you turning around on me? This question was for you. Okay. All right? You answer the question. I'm just merely saying that I think we're very quick to appreciate the level of performance of Chucky Lozano in the 2018 World Cup, and that cannot be denied.
The 20-some goals in Holland, the 40-some goals over back-to-back years don't matter?
All right, but okay, fine. But I think even you, Chucky Lozano's agent, can clearly understand and appreciate that he has taken a couple of steps back in his career over the last couple of years.
Fair enough. How much of that is down to Napoli? I don't know. They got an owner suing the players. They got a coach that makes fun of Chucky in the media, literally, basically to his face. I mean,
there he is.
Where's
His agent
Napoli
is
at
back.
the table? Where
The agent is back.
Napoli?
There he is.
Wow. It took you all of 3 seconds to say very well and off and running. There you go.
All right. Well, things aren't perfect in Napoli. They're not perfect here either. How about that?
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.